Hello there. This is Cheryl Lentz, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and my cat in the back there, coming to you for our follow-up Friday. So I'm sorry I wasn't on Wednesday. I had to take a friend to the hospital. She had been in a car accident a few days before that and was having some symptoms. And yes, she had a concussion. Thank you for your prayers. Hi, Patty. Thank you for your prayers. She is following doctor's orders and hopefully will be back up and going soon. So it just was kind of a scary little moment there. So we had to stop everything to get that taken care of. So thank you for your patience. Sorry about that. Patty, safe travels to you. I know you're on the road. So today we're going to play with, I promised that we would play with the Give It a Whirl dies. And I've had so much fun with them. I paired it up with the stamp set Nothing's Better Than, which is Nothing's Better Than Chocolate is what I chose, the chocolate theme. So I will turn the camera around. I'll show you the Give It a Whirl dies and then what we're going to pair it up with. And then at the end, I do have a couple other couple of tips and a couple other cards to show you that I've done with these dies. So there we go. I'm going to turn the camera around. Thank you for joining me. Oh, in Iowa today. Oh my goodness, Patty. Well, have fun traveling. That's so fun getting to watch everybody. Good afternoon, Jean. How are you? So good to see you guys on. So thank you for joining me. So I will turn the camera around and we'll get started. So remember, when I turn the camera around, I can't see anybody chatting until I stand up. I am going to be doing some cutting with our cut and emboss machine today with the dies. So I'll be standing up once in a while, but not the whole time. So I'm going to turn the camera around. Let's get started doing a little stamping. So here we go. So here's my little messy area all the way down. I have all my stamps already here. And I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. There we go. Okay, hopefully I can keep everything kind of lined up today. So Give It a Whirl. This is the Give It a Whirl dies. They are on page 163 of the annual catalog, and they consist of 21 different dies. So here's all the different dies. It's a lot. There's a lot of dies. So this is the wheel. This is the big piece that gets cut out. The wheel goes behind this piece like this. I mean, when you're doing the card, and then you have this nice little scallop edge that you can move the piece around. But what you can do with these dies is that you can change the shape of the opening that you're cutting out, that you're seeing through the little window that's behind here. So like this one would be, you'd have the little heart on here, and then you have the wheel behind like that, and then whatever is stamped on this triangle is what you're going to see through your picture here. So this is like the picture window that you're going to use, and we have 4 different shapes for that. So pretty cool. I think it'll make more sense when I show it to you. So I paired this up, and then they have little arrows that I showed you before, and then they have little areas that you can just impress, do a little die cut. It doesn't cut it, but it impresses, makes the little stitching marks for arrows also. So kind of cool option along with that. So let me move that away here for a moment. I'm pairing it up with Nothing's Better Than. This is a stamp set. It was designed by Connie Stewart, who was a $1 Million achiever. So pretty exciting. And it's one that has carried over. And I'm sorry to say I haven't used it as much as I should. So today when I had to do a wheel card, I was like, this is perfect because it has nice small images that I could use. And it has really great cutouts that you can use. So it has, this says, love you more than, and then it has coffee. What does it have? Cookies, cocktails, and chocolate. So there you go. So they have all the little cutouts that you can do. The cocktails, the cookies, cup of coffee, chocolates, fun. So they paired up nicely, and I'll show you the card that we're going to do. So this is the card that I designed this morning. So it doesn't take long. So then this little wheel turns. So there you go. So you have coffee. Come on. There we go. And I have cookies, chocolate chip, of course. And here we go. Here's our chocolates. So, and then here's the little arrow that I cut out. And then the heart that got cut out here, I just put inside so I didn't waste anything. You make everything better. Love you more than chocolate, and you make everything better. Kind of a fun card. I know I was using the heart, but instead of using red, which I normally would do, this paper, I love the lined paper and the gingham paper, but this is from Your Peach. Sweet as a Peach sweet. And I just thought it went well with this. I like the early espresso with balmy blue, favorite color combination. So what we're going to do first is, I have a couple bows cut out here. This is my pieces for my card, right? I'm going to show you how to make a template, because one of the issues is that you're going to stamp on this this circle, and I told you that it has little lines here. I think you can kind of see those lines, maybe kind of, sort of, right here. See the there's an indentation where the line is. Well, when you're stamping on these circles at first, or triangles, at first what I did was I took Post-it notes and went around here so that I wouldn't stamp into the other area. But then I soon learned that you really can't stamp along this outside edge either. Otherwise, it will show up on this edge as you're turning it. So I didn't want that to happen either. So I created a little, I created this little helper here. So this is going to go on here, and then it covers up, also is a cool peace sign, it covers up the areas that you don't want to stamp on. Now, if your image is bigger, you would maybe want to take a Post-it note and cover these other areas just in case, you know, depending on what you're stamping in that area. But I'll show you how to make this, this little template to cover up what you don't want stamped. So kind of a fun, easy thing to do. So I'm going to move this stuff aside. I have the die for this, the cutout on the front, where is it, right here, is rather large. So I measured it up on my paper here. So I cut my my designer paper because I wanted to cover that. And I'm using heavy white, the heavy white for the circle and for the template on the front. And I cut it at 4 and 5 1/4. Both pieces are cut the same. So what I'm going to do is cut out this one, and then I'm going to cut out this one. You know, and I suppose it probably would go through both of them, but because this is thick white, I just wasn't quite sure. But so I cut it separately, and I did that on this card, and it worked out fine. So let's hope that today live it works out fine too. I'm going to move this so that my my cut and emboss machine doesn't go sliding all over the place. And then we're going to get some cutting done, and then we'll get some stamping done. So here we go. I'm going to put this here. Hopefully you can see that okay. So here is my template. And for this one, I was using the heart cutout. So I just kind of, you can see it really pretty much goes top to bottom on your cardstock. So let me move that up a little bit. There we go. Maybe I should kind of pull it back. I don't know. Hello, Sharon. All right. So there we go. I put it like that. And then I wanted to use the heart cutout for this one. So I put this down here. This little circle has a lip on it. That's the cutting edge. And that's going to hook right inside this little hole here. And just like that. So then you kind of just line it up. And I just eyeballed this. I kind of tried to get that as straight as I could. Maybe. Let's see if it's gonna work for me today. It worked for me this morning, but the die is, my plates aren't quite straight. There we go. Okay. Just trying to be real careful here. Okay, there we go. So I have plate number 1, plate number 2, the clear acrylic plate number 3, and that's what I'm putting on the top here. So I'll put that down, kind of hold it in place, and run that through. So this is the thick white cardstock. There we go. Ran that baby through. Let's see here. You can see that. So here's my pieces. You can see there's like no waste. You're cutting the whole thing. So it cuts pretty close, but that's okay. So here is my initial piece. And I want it on the heavy white. I just think it needs a little more stability. But you can see this little line here. There's kind of a line there. And that's what some people did not like. Now, I didn't think that was bad. Here's one that I didn't finish this card, but I stamped over it to see if it would matter. The line would matter when stamping right on top of it, and it did not. So just so you're aware of that. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my piece of designer paper that I want to put over the top, and I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm just going to put this in place, hook this together, move it up. It's exactly the same size as my heavy white. And I'm just kind of eyeballing that area so that I get my heart centered here. The same. You could use a little washi tape, but you know, why would I do that? That would make it so much easier. That would be silly. Let's see here. Come on. Okay. So that goes up straight, and then I touch it. There we go. Okay. And on this one, I want to kind of make sure that I get my line straight here, that I get it on the DSP correctly too. So, come on. Help me out here. Whoops. I feel like, there we go. Okay. All right. Let's try it. Let's try it. Hopefully it will match up. There we go. Okay. I'm going to run this through. Move this over a little bit. Okay. Ta-da. All right. So that part is done. So I'm going to take this off. I'm all done with this piece here. That's going to go there. I'm going to keep my heart because I'll use that in the inside of my card. So I have this nice little cutout. That's all the scraps I have. Like nothing. Hi, Lynn. All right. Now, I wanted to create, I'm going to show you how to create the template for stamping your triangle pieces here. So I thought that it worked a lot easier than trying to struggle and use the Post-it notes. So I cut out a circle. Then I took my triangle die, and it's going to go right over the circle that's already in there. So the two holes line up, and then I lined it up according to the impressions on the paper. Let's see, can you see those a little bit? Yeah, there you go. You can kind of see the impression there. So I'm lining it up in that triangle, just like that. Ta-da. And that's just going to cut out the center then. So that is a nice, handy piece to have when your pieces are, your stamps might be bigger than what you want. So there we go. Now I have one cut out, and here's a piece of pizza you can use on something else. And then I did the same thing for each area. So just lined it up. I lined up the circles. There we go. Ta-da. And then ran it through. There we go. And you do that 3 times until you get, I won't do it another time, until you get this. Ta-da. So here it is with 2 done. So I'm just gonna, you would do it one more time and then you get this. And then what I did is I used removable tape and just put a little bit on the edges and then lined this up onto my circle that I was going to stamp. So that just made it a lot easier to not worry about stamping in areas that you shouldn't be stamping in. So there we go. We're all done with the cutouts. I did some of the cutting out ahead of time with all the words that we're going to put on. So let me just put my little sheet back. Ta-da, ta-da. Have the table set. Okay. All right. So now I have these two pieces. And I just want to take and poke out. There's a little hole there because that's where the brad is going to go through. We now have brads again. Yay. We have red and black, and they are square or round. So whichever one you want to use for your project works perfect. And I'm just going to cut this little piece off. Come on. My little circle friend. Okay, so this piece is going to go directly over this piece. Ta-da, and it matches. Woo, that was good. It matches. So all I'm going to do is glue that on. So I just think it needs to be a little bit sturdier because you want this to stand up a little bit, and then you have your, you're going to have your wheel behind there. So I'm going to just glue this on, and I'm going around those areas a little bit here. Okay, so I'm just going to glue that right over the top, and it just gives it a little more stability. You want it, after all this, you want it to be nice, right? Okay, so this ends up being, it's like 3 3/4 by, it's just under 5 1/4, okay? And normally our layering is 5 1/4 by 4. So that's what I have here. This piece is going to go on top of here. Now you're going to have a little bit side to side, and pretty much it's going to go top to bottom, okay? So you'll have a little border side to side, but top to bottom, not so much. Now, if you were going to, if you wanted to have the little imprinted arrows, so here, I'll show you. There's these little dies, just kind of put the little dots in and imprint that image onto your base. This one is kind of dark, and that's why I didn't do that. But these are cut so that this nice little cool circle, you figure out where your piece is going to go, and then you lay this in here, and then you would take this out and run that through on the cut and emboss machine, and it will put a little arrow in there for you. And I have a card I'm going to show you, let's see here, where I did that. I used that little, here's another card. I'll show you the whole card later, but you can see the little impressions of the, let's see, can you see that? Yeah, the little arrows on there. If I turn it just right, sometimes you can see it. Anyhow, you can see that little arrow. So it gives little arrow impressions, which is kind of cool, right? So you know exactly where it is. All you have to do is lay your piece over it and put this in place, and it fits right into that little notch. So you have this one that has 2 little arrows, a long arrow, and then just a straight arrow. So, and then these are the cutout arrows. So because I'm using Early Espresso, something dark, I did do the cutout arrows, and I used our adhesive sheets so that it will just stick on there. So, all right. So those are our base parts already. Now we're going to take our part that we're going to stamp on, our wheel, and I'm going to lay my template over the top of it. So I'm looking where the impressions are, and I'm just going to lay this right over the top, and you can tell where you're at if it's right because you have the circle in the middle, right? So there we go. So I have my little pieces in place. I am going to use Memento ink to put the outlines in. Now, this is one thing that I did twice. So I want to, this is a little like warning shot. So this is how I want my card to go, right? So if I'm turning my wheel, you have to know which, like if I should have the cup going this way or this way, right? So I would suggest have your card with your cutout, whichever direction you're going to go in, because I've done it both directions. So here I did it down, and then on this one I have it up. So that depends on where you stamp your image big time, because I did it twice before I got it right on the chocolates. So I am going to have this here. This is where I want the bottom. So when it's going to go in here, it's going to go just like this, right? So this will be the top of my image. So I'm going to take my coffee cup here, and I have the outline image, and this is from the chocolate set, the Nothing's Better Than. And so I'm just going to stamp towards the top and in the center, my little coffee cup. All right, then I'm going to turn it, and then I can stamp my cookie. This little cookie has a bite out of it. It's super cute. So I'm going to stamp my little cookie towards the top of it and in the middle. And then the next one are my chocolates. So here's this image, and it's nice because this particular image fits in my triangle, but when I did the camping one, it did not. So just so you're aware, and that's why this template makes it nice. And I'm just gonna, there we go, just like that. Ta-da! All right. So now I'm gonna move that, and then I'm gonna fill in the images. It's two-step stamping, so I have the outline images here, and then I'm going to use my early espresso. But what I did is I wanted it a little bit lighter because I want you to be able to see all the detail that's on here, like the little lines, the little cupcakes, or the little stars on the cup, that kind of stuff. So I took it and stamped off. So I just have a piece of scrap paper here. So I'm just going to ink it up with my early espresso. I'm going to stamp off, and then I'm going to try to line this up as I'm kind of leaning over. So it might be off just a little. There you go. Ta-da. This is a pretty forgiving set. It doesn't match exactly, so it's kind of like a line drawing. So you could color it in if you want, but I like that look. And it's sort of like these lines aren't all solid either. It's just kind of a fun little look. So here we go. I'm going to do my coffee cup. It's hard when I'm not hovering over the top to make sure I'm getting this right. And where's my cookie? Here it is. So here's my cookie. Cookie with the bite out of it. So again, I'm going to stamp off and line up my cookie. Ta-da! There we go. So you can see all the cool details that are on that stamp. I'm going to move that aside. All right. This just comes off because I used removable tape. So that gets out of the way. But that is useful. On this one, these images were bigger, so I needed to have that covered up. So it's just a little extra thing that you can do. So now we have these pieces in. I have this piece on. I am going to take my brad. See how it lined up perfectly. So here are the brads. There's a million of them. I talked about that before. I'm going to take a small, the white circle brad, so it doesn't show up so much. But what I would suggest is that you have a bone folder with you to get it nice and flat. So I'm lining up the hole here, taking my little brad, putting it through there, and then with my bone folder, I can get this nice and flat. So I just go like this, ta-da. So it's nice and flat. And that will give it a nice stability. Otherwise it sort of wiggles in there. So you're gonna do that. So there we go, I have that done. Now before I put my, I'm going to use these adhesive strips. I'm gonna use the foam adhesive strips on the back of this, but before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and put my words on here, and my little, I have everything setting out here. My little arrow will go on last, but I'm going to put my words on here. I already cut those out of Early Espresso. Here's my cutout area. So it was out of Early Espresso with our adhesive sheets on it. Makes it wonderfully easy. You don't get glue all over your fingers, for those of you that are concerned about that. So I just have, here's my little love. And you just tear the, kind of pull the paper piecing, the paper liner here off of the outside, on the back side there. Okay. And then you just glue it down. So here we go. There's my love, 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 love. Let's see here. And this has a couple little pieces to it. So pull these off. So all I'm doing is just kind of poking it a little bit to get that paper off of the back. They pulled right out. So love you. Put this right here. Love you. Get the words in the right place. That makes it a lot nicer. Here we go. Pull the paper. I love the adhesive sheets for this, because if you're trying to glue this, I don't care what kind of glue you use, it's difficult. Love you more than, so the adhesive sheets are the way to go. So what I do is I cut out a piece of adhesive sheet that's slightly smaller than my cardstock, so that I don't have any adhesive like hanging over that's going to go on your plates when you run it through. There, more than chocolate. And it sticks on there nicely, so no worries. There we go. Ta-da. Let's pull that off. Here we go. Chocolate. And then on my original card, I put this bigger bow on here. Nice white bow. But then I had this on my desk. Remember on Tuesday? This was, it went through my cutting and emboss machine. It was sitting on the ledge and I didn't see it right away. So I have a little smaller one. So maybe we'll put the smaller one on and then you all can decide whether you like the bigger bow or the smaller, thinner bow. I love this bias tape bows. I really like those. So I'll put that on in a minute. But now that we have this on, we're going to go ahead and put our adhesive strips on here. So I use probably more than you need to, but I'd rather have it sturdy. So what you do is you just pull one of the strips off, one at a time, and you're just going to go along the edge. So what you want to do is create a nice field that holds this up so you have room to kind of pull that. So I got it nice and close to my strips here, but you don't want to impede the wheel. So you want to leave that loose so you're not stopping the wheel from turning. That would defeat the whole purpose. So here we go. I'm going to put this one here, there, and you just snip it off. And I'm going to get another one. We'll use this piece in a minute, but I'll get the bigger pieces. I like the outside to have like a solid piece on. Just one of my little weird quirks. Has nothing to do with anything, just a weird quirk. So there we go. I admit that. I have some, there we go. And then we're gonna bring one up here and pretty far up. I'm just gonna kind of cut it at an angle here. Don't want to have it too close to the wheel, but enough that you have it in there. And then this one will go right here. Just cut it off here. Ta-da. This one's a little bit bigger, so I'm going to put this over here just to make this a little more solid and lift that up from the base of the card. And then we have this other little piece that I said we were going to use. I'm just going to cut this in half like that. And I'm going to put a piece up here in the corner and over here. There. Ta-da. There we go. Good enough. So what I'm going to do then, you just peel off the paper on this side, and it's double-sided. So lickety split. We've got this done. yeah, there's some pieces, but once you have your pieces cut, it really doesn't take too long to make these, and they're really fun. So I think the more you use it, it's going to like, oh, I could do this one, I could do this, I could do this. I wanted to do some with some of the cute little animals that we have, but I ended up doing one that I thought was a kind of a guy card, and then I wanted to do this one. So right now I'm just kind of holding it over the top. I know that I'm going to have a little bit of an edge on both sides, and it's going to go pretty much top to bottom. So I'm just going to line that up like that. Okay, I'm going to move it over just a smidgen, because on the one side is where, this side is where I want that little arrow. So I want to make sure I give myself enough room over there. Let's do it this way. There we go. Okay, ta-da. So I gave myself a little more room here because I have this arrow here that I also ran through with the adhesive sheet. And look at how tiny, it's like, it's baby size. But you can just pull off the sticker and there we go. And you've got it. Ta-da. So you can tell them where to turn. Ta-da! So fun. Whoops, I moved it over. There we go. I have to push it down a little bit more. There we go. I'm going to take my bone folder and just give it a good press. Because it's a little bit concave, right, from running it through the machine. So there we go. Ta-da, ta-da, ta-da. Now we've got it. Oh, we've got it. Okay, we're going to put a bow on here. So I'm going to pick up my dots here. Normally I push into it, but these backward dots, you know my issue with these. I have a hard time with them. So I'm going to use the smaller bow, and we're just going to put the glue dots right there. I'm going to decide this is going to go like right here under my chocolate. Oops, I kept the glue dots. Kept them on my fingers. I have new color today. Went and had my nails done yesterday. Got my hair cut the other day. Oh, feels so good. I was so thankful. We left a lot of hair on the floor. Just like that. There we go. Okay. Ta-da! And then I used, the base I have here is Balmy Blue, because that's the color of the stripe. And I thought that pulled that out. So I'm just going to glue this directly onto my card front. This is nice and sturdy, this layer, having that thicker white. So there we go. Just like that. And then it needed more. It needed something else. So I pulled out my metallic. I thought chocolate and gold, kind of the browns go together. So I pulled out my metallic pearls. And instead of putting them like here and there, I put them in the corners. I put 2 of them in each corner. And it's kind of nice because I can line it up perfectly because I have the stripes on the paper. So they're the same, pretty much here. So I'm just picking them up. Come on. There we go. Oops, I lost it. Here it is. You guys probably saw that before me. There we go. So, just like that, and then I put some up here too. You just can't have enough bling. And this isn't like blingy blingy, it's just kind of, looks like it's kind of tacked down here. There, like that. And then 2 more. If I can pick it up. There we go. Put one here. And here. Ta-da! Ta-da, ta-da! There we go. So, that's that. Now let's do the inside. So, I just stamped with the early espresso, the verse in the inside. So it says, love you more than chocolate on the front, and the inside says, you make everything better. I thought, oh, that's sweet. I like that. Then you could put in, you know, happy birthday. You could put in whatever. I just wanted to use what was with the stamp set. So there's that. And then here's my heart that we cut out from the front. You certainly don't want to waste that. That's so cute. So I just glued it in the corner here. My favorite thing to do. Add a little DSP in the center of, or in the inside of our cards. There we go. And another layer of early espresso. With this card, you certainly need to add your layers on the inside so the card is balanced. There we go. Just like that. There we go. Okay. Let's glue this inside, and we're all done. So it's really pretty fast. I could see doing a bunch of these, getting them cut out. I would suggest having the die front that cut out in front of you, so you know that you're stamping your images correctly on the wheel. I couldn't believe I did it wrong twice. I was like, okay, Cheryl, how are we gonna get through this? Okay, so that's the card for today. And then here's the other one I made. A happy hello for you. And this is, gosh, I used Balmy Blue again. So yeah, Balmy Blue, I love it. But I wanted to make one for the guys. So a happy hello to you. Enjoy today. Stamped over it, did the brushes and blended it. And then we have a little camping theme. This time I used the black dot. So I have my little camping thing going on here. And here's my, yep, see how this is a little bit bigger. And then on the inside, hoping your birthday is filled with all the best things. So I thought my oldest son loves to camp. So I thought this will be a perfect card for his birthday. I like that. And then this was the other one I showed you on Tuesday, was our little chick card. And on this one, I didn't put in that extra layer, but I like the extra layering because I'm a layerer. So there you go. There's the Give It a Whirl. You really should try this. If you haven't yet, you should give that a try. It's a lot of fun. Don't forget that until August 1st, August 2nd, the Designer Series paper is on sale. There's 9 different papers that are on sale, 15% off. Great deal. So much fun. And one of them is the peach. I think that is this one of them? Yeah, You're a Peach. And so this is from the You're a Peach paper, this nice stripe. And then just a reminder that the next paper pumpkin is going to be a hope box. Really exciting. It's designed by Shelley. And so it is a box with, it has cards in it, but also it has a lot of extra things because it's kind of an ombre box. It's very cool looking. And it'll have extra goodies in there to decorate your box as a memory box. So lots of fun. I sat down and did that with my grandkids. I have a memory box, so I open it up. We all sat on the bed together, and you open it up, and then I talked about different things. And some of them were interested in some of those items. I said, this box is small, so you can only put so many things in. And it was kind of a fun, it was just a fun day to sit with them and chat about things, you know, that they might not know about. Kind of fun things. All right, so that's it. I am going to turn the camera around. Here we go. Thank you, Patty. I'm glad you like the cards. I always try. There we go. Okay. So Give It a Whirl dies. Oh, cat is there. It looks like a little statue. Give It a Whirl dies. Lots of fun. I want to do some more with the little animals and different things. And play with some of the other shapes that you can cut the window out differently. So I will probably show you that next week. So have a great weekend. Go out for a fish fry. Have a good weekend. Now, I know, I'm sorry, Lynn. I know, I didn't think I needed it either, but now that I play with it, it's so easy to create some fun things. And everybody likes something that moves. You know, it's like adults, kids, everybody loves that, you know, the little circle thing. So you can put all different messages on. So lots of fun. All right, y'all take care. Thank you so much for watching. Go to stampingjourney.com if there's something that you would like to order through there. You can go and do a little shopping. This will be on the blog also and on my YouTube channel. So we're almost up to 400, so I'm excited. So take care. Bye-bye.